Hello everyone, I'm Santiago and today I'm gonna be testing Killing Floor 2 on the GeForce GTX 1050 2GB. For performance monitoring I'll be using CAM. If you want to download the software, there's a link down in the description. So Killing Floor 2, I'll be doing 1080p, 1440p and 4K. To skip down those sections of the video, check the description below. I'll be using almost the maximum settings except in NVIDIA Flex, which is usually a big performance hit and kinda difficult to predict. And I'm in occlusion instead of HBAO+, I'm using SSAO since it's usually a 10 FPS hit. And you'll notice that the game is pretty much over 60 frames per second. It might sometimes drop below 60 a couple frames when there's a lot of effects on screen. For example, I freeze an enemy and then I just attack with incendiary ammo, for example. That can usually be a big performance hit if there's a good number of enemies on screen. Then I switch to 1440p and I show you a 60-ish FPS configuration, which means I try to hit 60 frames per second, but there are some drops into the 50s, which in my opinion is still smooth enough. And then I just crank up the settings to the max to see what frame rate we get. And finally at 4K, I just lower everything to the minimum because the game is very unstable. When you're just moving around and there's nothing happening, you might get 60 frames per second, but once you start attacking enemies and effects show up and all that kind of stuff, it can drop into the low 30s, which is very annoying because from a second to another, you just drop from 60 to, I don't know, 35 FPS, so it makes it difficult to aim. But if you cap it at 30 frames per second, it should be fine. And while the settings that gave me the biggest boost in performance after lowering them were I'm in occlusion, by just lowering it from HBAO+ to SSAO is a big boost. Then anti-aliasing has a slight performance hit. Despite being just FXAA, it's a noticeable difference. And then real-time reflections are also a noticeable performance hit. You can change those without restarting the game, but the other one that is a hit to performance is shadow quality, but changing that one requires you to restart the game, so keep that in mind. But yeah, it's a good difference in performance. I recommend you lower that if you're having performance issues. And finally, character detail and effects. If you lower those one step below, usually when there are mobs of enemies attacking you, it's usually easier for the GPU. And don't even touch NVIDIA Flex unless you have a higher end GPU. It usually makes the game stutter more, especially when you're just attacking enemies because there's a lot of liquids and parts of enemies just flying around and they're dynamic. So yeah, I don't recommend this one. It doesn't give you an advantage in the game. Yeah, it looks a little better because it looks more dynamic, more stuff moving around. In my opinion, the performance hit is not worth it. Anyway guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you keep enjoying the video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
The dad's nearly dead! Looks like you're about to go back to the Ice Age! Watch out, you said cloak just now. Toasty time! Damn it, Frosty, move! Great! Earplug time! Siren! Load, you bastard! Load! Here! Turn like hell! It's here! Watch it! Siren!
Finish the last ones off, so I can open the trigger for you.
That's... That's nice. Careful, flashbang! nice.
That's the last one. Get to the indicated pod for resupply. Taking down a Scrake comes naturally to you, no?
Look alive, Dead's paying us a visit. Just picking them off. That's just the first course.
That was the last one. Get to the indicated pod for resupply.
Let's crisp you up. That Red's really pissed off. Come on. He shoots, he kills. Well done. That's nice. She's up. Something cloaked is sitting around here. I should get paid a... I can't see! Don't mind if I do. Alert my eyes! Not dead yet. I'll sort that. That's nice. Hot, 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 hot!
Hurry up. Zeds are getting closer. Protect the area.
We've got a siren! Hot, hot, hot! You know me now, don't you? That's nice. We've got a flash bomb! Ha-ha! Get over, wake up! Come on, get in! They're not roasting on an open fire! Loads more where that came from! Watch it, siren!
Damn! Barrier breached. batch out. Nice work. We can reopen the trader pod soon.
Damn it, Frosty, move! We've got a silence! Damn it! Damn it, my ears! Come like hell!
Come see me. The pod's safely open.
That's just the first course. Down they go. Nice one. Okay.
Start. Now finish the job. Allez.
Happiness is.
Let the area get breached.
Dead yet? Not sort that. Just pick it. Like that, did you? Come on!
Glad to see you made it through. Make for the pod and gear up.
Give me a day, I could market this, make a packet.
Your armor's falling to pieces. Get it fixed. Time's up. Go kill some Zeds.
Watch it, siren! Ah, the boss! Boom! Sizzle, you wake up! Earplug time! Siren! Toasty time! Look alive! Death paying us enemy! Sizzle, you wake up! I'm gonna burn you back to the building! Careful! Wait! Then crisp you up! That's nice! Can't hear anything! Right, here comes Cat on legs! Come like hell!
Perfect. Pod's open again. Let's get you restocked.